Hello, and I am Bethany Planton.
Hi, I'm Diane Leonard, and we're with Agile and Nonprofits.
Yes, and today we're going to talk about pulling the right lever. Why do you think that Scrum emphasizes focusing on improving team performance as opposed to individual performance?
Well, that's $1 million question, right? I'm like the right lever, press the right button, the wrong button. I want to press or pull the right thing so that the team doesn't get frustrated. The team is excited. We're working towards our goal. Like it brings up so much.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And the first thing that came to mind as you said that today, I'm like, we've talked about this before, but I'm like, oh, right. I language versus we language. There's no I in team. It was my initial gut today. How about you?
Yeah, I agree with that. And the thought that what really stood out to me in the book is that businesses right now generally are focused on the I and the individual and how much more we can get done if we're focused on the team, and how much happier the teams are when we usually focus on the team versus individuals. There's lots of good data and reasons to focus on the team instead of individuals.
100%. And if the right lever is pulled, in the case of, right, what Dr. Sutherland's quote is, then what's the data that tells you that it worked or not? So what are the metrics we're watching? How are we being empirical about did we pull the right lever or not? And not being afraid to try something because you don't know if it's going to work or not. Like, how can you test one hypothesis to see if what you did helps the team's performance or not? And maybe then there's an undo button next to the lever.
Yes.
I've struggled with that. Like pressure to make the right decision is so hard, but actually not acting, well, that's just leaving the lever in place, isn't it?
Right. It's not pushing
Nothing
anything.
will get better.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm just thinking tactically, like how can someone take action? How can they like step towards all right lever? What do you think? What's something you've seen or you've tried, Bethany, that you think could help someone focus on team performance?
I think this is the great time to talk about the Kaizen of Scrum and using that as a time to maybe test something. And again, that gives you that undo button kind of at the end of your sprint to say, was this the right lever? Did this really help? Or no, it wasn't. Let's try something else. And that gives you also a very short amount of time to try that one thing and see if it worked or not. So then it doesn't feel so much like, oh, is this the right one? It's we're trying one. Nope, not as much pressure.
And for people that like to do all the things all the time, I love that you brought up the Kaizen, something, right? Like the one change for good that's going to come out of the retrospective, and that it's going to prevent the team from trying all the cool things. Right. And like, maybe you've ever been somewhere and you're like pushing all the buttons or your computer's not working and you're hitting all the things. Can't do it. Just one.
Yep.
Well played on that one. I like it. Awesome. Well, yeah, I hope that folks will check out Dr. Sutherland's book, because that's really where that quote comes from, pull the right lever, and can hopefully get the conversation started for them too.